Good morning. The sun is shining. When my wife and I first got married, we were kind of starry-eyed and very idealistic, and we really didn't have any idea what was ahead for us in life. And a very wise woman that was an aunt of mine who raised 7 kids and went through some very tough hardships in her life. And one was when my cousin got hit by a car, and he was in a body cast, and the family had to rally together and actually teach him how to walk. And the doctors said that they didn't think he would ever walk again. And when my wife and I were sitting talking to my aunt about this time in her life, and we asked how she did it, and she said, well, Joe, into each life some rain must fall. And I think that if you've lived long enough, we've all experienced a little bit of rain in our lives, haven't we? Today's readings we see a lot of pain and suffering. And when this occurs in our lives, we can either turn toward God or away from God. Our first reading from the book of Job tells us about Job's suffering. He was an upright and righteous man, and God permitted Satan to put Job to the test. And our readings capture Job at the peak of his sufferings. We see Job agonizing, tossing, and turning at night. And he says, months of misery and troubled nights. And Job has lost all the members of his family. All of his livestock are gone. His health, as he lays there awake at night with boils all over his body. Can't imagine. He's reached an all-time low, and he exclaims, is not man's life on earth a drudgery? And he wondered if he would ever see happiness again. But as that story unfolded, we know that Job stayed faithful to God, and God stayed faithful to Job. Many of us are experiencing some rain in our lives right now. 1 year ago today, can you imagine sitting here thinking what was in store for us with this pandemic? And so many people were separated at times when they wanted to be closest to their loved ones as they departed from this earth. And so we've seen people that have been financially devastated from this pandemic. If you're in the restaurant business, your occupation has been almost taken away from you. And so people are unemployed. We see social and political unrest. Who could have predicted all the social and political unrest that we went through in 2020? And we find ourselves even sometimes in fear of expressing our faith when we saw what happened at the Cathedral just a few weeks ago when protesters stormed into our place of worship. And it's important for us, though, as we experience different hardships in our lives, and if you are going through that now, to not give up and not lose hope, because we know that God did not forget about Job. He's not going to forget about you and I either. We must never forget that. The God that we worship is a God who is merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in kindness. Our God is compassionate in all of our sufferings. And if you took that word compassion and you broke that down, the first part of the word comes from the Latin word cum. And cum means being with. And the second part of that word is patior or pasio, which means passion. And so what the truth is that God is compassionate, meaning that he is with us and we are with him. In his sufferings, he is with us in our sufferings. That's the beauty of our Christian faith, because we have a Lord that can relate to everything that we've gone through. So compassion means being with somebody in their suffering, and we are with each other in our sufferings. And God is not some uninterested bystander. Our God is intimately involved and very interested in anything that we go through. The Apostle Paul, I think, really understood this. He said when he is weak, he knows that God is even stronger and that God is with him. Paul was one of the first to reveal that compassionate God. Jesus primarily came here for one purpose. He came here to heal us, not just of our physical infirmities. He came here to heal us, our souls, and he's very much interested in our union with him. So we can unite our sufferings with him, with Jesus on the cross. And he did tell us that while we are in this world, we will have trouble. But take heart, I have overcome the world.